Okay, finally meet you in person.
Yes.
Jeff, Dr. Jeff, you know guys. Dr. Jeff on Twitter is running Bitcoin research as well.
That's right.
Yeah, that's cool. And then I just introduced myself and I just got my MBA and my MBA is for adoption innovation. And then I asked a lot of discussion and dialogue used to speak with the VIP as well. He said about the notion of the monetary trilemma. Can you elaborate into that and how company with leverage can adjust with the
Sorry, can you ask the question one more time?
the monetary trilemma that you know that MicroStrategy just launched it, not really just, but it's just a couple of months ago, Stretch. And Stretch creates the notion of monetary trilemma. Can it apply to your company, especially with the not so, for example, Indonesia, emerging market like Indonesia?
Yeah, so what we're trying to do with Bitcoin on our balance sheet is we're trying to take the best form of leverage as possible, like as we can. So you've got Bitcoin on your balance sheet, and you want to be able to identify ways that you can utilize it as capital and collateral. So what we've done is identified this form of perpetual preferred equity. So we are issuing equity. So someone is giving us additional money, and we're paying them a fixed interest rate or a variable interest rate over time in exchange for the capital. So that's the design that we've chosen. And for us, it's the best form of capital because there isn't any margin calls, and the leverage is the most efficient. So, this space is evolving where you can start to use Bitcoin in unique ways as capital.
Yeah, because it's not really possible in our country, for example, because just recently the policy for the tax perspective it's applicable, but for the monetary standpoint, it's not really the case because you can in Indonesia still follow the best. Actually, it's not Indonesia, but all over the globe actually still follow the monetary policy of the Fed. So how can it apply even if the regulatory is not in favor?
Yeah, the regulatory environment in any of these countries is it certainly plays into how you make decisions, right? So the great part about Bitcoin is you can move it. You can have Bitcoin sitting in different places. If your regulatory environment doesn't like it, you can set up a special purpose vehicle in the Cayman Islands or Bermuda or somewhere else where the regulatory environment is more favorable. And ultimately, the capital will move to those locations where it's treated best. So, like, you think about how to address this. Ultimately, the companies that have the power are going to want to hold this stuff to capital. There's incentive to change the regulations and the rules. So, to the extent that people can spend energy in that spot, that's a worthy endeavor.
Yeah, and that's it for the regulatory environment. Before you go, one last question. As you know that maybe you know Black Thor, right? Yes. So bearish about it. And when you see MNAV actually below the threshold, what do you see the coming? I mean, at one point I saw a tweet from 7 hours ago. I know it's improbable, but Bitcoin, if goes down 90%, it would blow up the whole adoption. What's your take about? What's your opinion?
Yeah, these companies. So, right, there's risk. There's risk associated in operating in this market. Can a drawdown happen? And can it be large? Yeah, it absolutely can. I think we're all prepared for it. I think what's important is that you're managing the risk and the probability. You're underwriting the probability of those types of events. For us, like 90% drawdown, we think that's a low probability event. We think that would probably be a structural problem. Considering where Bitcoin's at and currently adoption, etc. Moving forward, I think it's low probability. But you brought up this one app concept as well.
Yeah.
Like these corporations have, like, Bitcoin itself is a productive asset. Even if the the stock's multiple falls below 1 underneath the value of the credit balance sheet, it almost doesn't matter. Because you have a Bitcoin. Like the Bitcoin, you can do things with it, right? The Bitcoin's incredibly liquid. You can sell if you ever need it. It's like the worst case scenario. You can buy back the stock. That actually increases your Bitcoin exposure per share if you bought back. If you sold Bitcoin and bought back the stock. You can issue perpetual preferred equity, or you take other debt instruments. You can operate in the derivatives market. Like there are several things that you can do with your productive asset to help bolster the balance sheet in the future. So like this MNAV is a dynamic metric and it's temporary, like wherever it's at any point in time. Like there is not a future where MNAV goes to 1.
Because Bitcoin itself is volatile.
It's volatile. So these things will move, it will move around, and it will fluctuate, and it will fluctuate more than anything else in the market, like regulatory market. So it's evolving. People are starting to understand it, but there's a lot of confusion, and there's a lot of people that don't like it.
Yeah. Which is normal, freedom of speech is fundamental, right? We can have more argument, but I'm trying to say that the question is all about silicon. Yeah, maybe before you go, I mean, maybe you can share about your podcast with Ryan. I know Ryan is not here, but what you typically discuss about?
Yeah, we talked, in the past we talked about the beginning of MSTR as a corporate adoption of Bitcoin, and what we do now is True North. We talk about just the institutional trade Bitcoin podcast, and we talk about the adoption of Bitcoin corporately by all of these businesses in the United States and globally, and how these companies are structuring capital in different ways. So this is cutting edge. Like this is the front of digital finance. We want to be part of it.
I think that's it for today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Before we go, take picture together.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, wait.